Hello, and welcome to this short presentation showing how to utilize the Layout Manager within Tekla Structures to get your points that have been added to the model out to the field. So as you can see here, we already have our points added into the model. These points were added using the Layout Point Applicator, which you can view on how to use in a previous video. So we're not going to cover how to add the points. We are going to mainly deal with getting the points out to the field and then bring those points back in. So as you can see, we have a good sampling of points for our foundations, our edge of slab, our slab openings, anchor bolts, grids, everything like that. So we have a really good sampling of all the different points that we can have. So now we want to get them out into the field. So in order to do that, we must open up the Layout Manager. So go up to Tools, Layout Manager, and then that will open up the Layout Manager. So as you can see, it automatically has all of our points grouped together as they were added by the Layout Point Applicator. So you can see we have our anchor bolt group, and you can also see as I highlight and select a group from within the Layout Manager, those points actually highlight themselves in the model. So if I wanted to zoom to a particular layout point, I can zoom to, for instance, this point right here. I can say zoom selected, and it will zoom to that layout point that I want to see, find out something about it. Same thing with our foundation, group, edge of slab, slab openings, and also the grid. So from here, you can see if we are looking at our foundation group, I can expand this, and it shows me all the points that Tekla automatically labeled. So maybe I don't like that. Maybe my field guys want F100s, F200s, F1000s, anything like that. So I can change and have Tekla automatically rename all of my points by coming here and setting to my auto naming parameters. So on the prefix, I can come here and set this to be, let's say, F starting number 100, our max number link. So if you want to specify that, you can have that set. The delimiter, it being a dash or an empty space, and do you need that fill leading space, yes or no option, so depending on what you're exporting out of. So once I have my parameters set the way I want them to, I go over to the group, I right click and choose auto naming. So you can see that it went through and auto named all of my points. So I can do this for each group. Also within each group, I can adjust the local coordinate system. So this is the origin that Tekla uses whenever you export the points back out and in as well. So the default is from the Tekla origin. So the Tekla origin is at the lower left-hand corner right here of this green box inside your Tekla model. So that's the default that Tekla uses. If you need to change that to a project coordinate, to the real world coordinates, we have a couple different options that we can do. The first one being just the easiest of select. So I choose pick, I select where it needs to go, then I hit set, and then Tekla shows me on the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis of my new origin. So now all my points are going to be in reference to that location. I can also adjust the X and the Y, so if your building is rotated in the real world but is not rotated in the model, and vice versa. And we can also set this to where it uses the current work plane, so the current UCS that you have set in your model. So once you have that set, you can export the points out, so you can select the group or groups that you would like to export out. You can choose export, and then you can choose for the Trimble LM80, the CNX file, the Trimble field link, the TFL file, or a text file for all other manufacturers. So once you export those points back out, we can send them to our field guys. They can do the layout, and then we can also import those points back in. So to import the points back in, I can come up to import, and I'm just going to import in a text file that I have received back. So I'm going to browse to that. So let me browse to my import file. I can choose the default coordinate system, yes or no. I'm going to add these to an existing group, or I can create a new group. So I'm just going to create a new group for anchor bolt field verified. So then I can click load. Now since I can select all of these, I can choose the points that I want to bring in. Then I choose OK. And then what Tekla's going to do is read that file and create layout points where they are brought in. So you can see that they brought in as red spheres. You can see that the points are a little high than what they need to be, so I can have that information and make the appropriate adjustment. So thank you very much for watching this short video on how to utilize the Layout Manager. Thank you for your time.